All right. Hey, y'all. Mystery Girl Soul's Purpose. I'm back with another video. And I am coming on here to talk about today. I think I said that right. To talk with you today. Or on here today. For you to see me today. Okay. All right. So, I came on here to talk about, because I had another, what you would call a revelation or epiphany or a message from Spirit. And this is a little bit, I would like to call this, I like to call this, you can say a little bit of motivation. An eye-opening, a realization. Yeah, but anyway, this is gonna get kind of deep. Gotta keep an eye up on the camera, but I'm at work right now, so this is gonna be kind of deep. So I'm just gonna flow with it. So Spirit, may you help me flow with this on what you have given me. Okay. So what I realized was, or what Spirit had gave to me was, a lot of us spiritual people, if you're watching my channel, you're spiritual, okay? You're spiritual. And I'm not talking about religious doctrinating and stuff like that. I'm talking about what Source has given us, what Source has made known to us, or when we open our third eye and we start to realize certain things that align or work for a purpose for us to live this life, or codings, rules. If you think about it, if you've ever heard so above, I think, which is so above, so below, or so below, so above, that saying. And there's another saying, pluralities. Oh my gosh. I guess I'm saying that. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but balance, the light and the dark. If there has to be an opposite of everything in life, okay? Everything. It's good, it's bad. So, but what Spirit had given to me, and I just kept hearing it, that us as human beings, we're human, right? We live in this meat suit, right? You know, this is human, okay? Our skin, our 3D selves, or what you want to call it. But we also have the opposite of that, which is our spirit. You can call it a connection of God, what God has made to put in us, to instill in us a piece of the universe, a piece of him or her, a piece of what exists. That's in everything. God is in, when people say God is in everything, God is in everything. God is within us. If you heard of sayings of God and Goddess, it's okay to call yourself that. People be afraid to call themselves a God, to call themselves a goddess, in which you are. You can call yourself a king. What does a king do? A king has power. A king rules. He can rule in a bad way, or he can rule in a positive way, right? A king has all the things that he wants because he can believe he can get it. And even if he's been privileged to have these certain things, to be this king, to be a president, to be ahead of somebody, to be not just ahead of somebody, because anybody can be ahead of anybody. But what I'm saying is, what we look at as power, what we look at as something, oh, they got that because they was privileged. but were they really privileged? Because a privileged person can still sink to the bottom, lose it all. There's an opposite of everything. I'm gonna get to something real quick. Just follow me, okay? So since that person was privileged, we think they got all they want. They got it easy. They got a handout. Yes, maybe they got a handout, but them receiving this abundance and already having it at their forefront, right? Now, some people wasn't born into privilege. Some people wasn't born into riches. Some people had to struggle to get it, right? Or they're struggling now to even be on their 2 feet. But that privileged person, like I said before, they can still sink to the bottom if they stop believing in what is right in front of them, to stop believing in what they have been given. Okay, follow me. A human being has given their descendants something to hold on to grow, to prosper, to be somebody in life, privilege. But if they don't believe that they was not given this, even though it's right in front of their face, they won't have it. They'll self-sabotage it. They'll neglect it. They'll say, I'm not worthy of it. They'll say all these different things, these negative things that's opposite of what that person has given them. They won't have it. Something will happen in their life where they'll lose it. Maybe they'll gamble it away. Maybe they'll drink themselves to a slumber, and they lose it in that way because they're constantly making irrational decisions. And for them to be drinking a lot causes them to get into this emotional spiral. When you're somebody has said, when I was watching their channel, they had said, and it sparked me. I'm trying to get it back. Come on, Spirit. Come on. Bring it back. What did she say? What really hit me? What did she say? She said, dang, I lost it. Lost my flow. See, sometimes you lose your flow when, if it hits, it hits. Just say it. You don't got a citation or something. If it hits, it resonates with your soul. So when you get off and start dipping into what somebody else says, it's okay to cite their name, but when you start dipping into what somebody else says, you lose that flow. Because if it resonates with your soul, go ahead and say it. It was already within you to say it at first. Okay, I'm getting back into my flow. It was already within you to say it. Okay? It was already within you to already say it. It just haven't came to pass yet. So when you try to cite somebody else and knowing that it resonates, go ahead and say it. Go ahead and teach it. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead, whatever. Because it was already embedded in you to do that certain thing within your future. It's not copying. It's not none of that. Okay? Now going back to what I was saying. That privileged person, he can lose it. She can lose it if she don't believe that she's worthy of that thing. If she don't believe, or he don't believe that thing, that money, that car, those clothes, whatever, being a king is not them, or they're unworthy of that, then they will lose it in some form or fashion. Anything will come into that person's life to make them lose it. It can be any circumstance, and then we blame the circumstance. No, sometimes we got to look at ourselves to make sure, did we cause that to walk away? Did we self-sabotage that to leave our life, or for us to let go of it? Was it you? Was it you? Was it me? Or was it my environment? What? We have control over what we think, what we do. We have control over that. Okay? Now, Flip this over to you, to I, to me, to we, to the collective, to all of us. People who are tuned in, tapped in. And even people who are maybe not tuned in, tapped in yet. Or it's getting there. They kind of, okay, I see this coincidence. I see this synchronicity. What does this mean? Oh, once this happened, now this happened, now is aligned. I'm getting somewhere here, okay? I'm getting somewhere. When we tend to, no, let me say this. We're, like I said before in the beginning, we're human beings, right? We have a spirit within us. Opposite. Human. Spirit is opposite in the human. Human is opposite in the spirit. Because one vibrates in the 3D realm. One vibrates in 5D, 6D, however many realms we can get to. Because us as spirit within us, God consciousness, Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it, can vibrate on different D's, okay? Can vibrate on different D's on how tuned in, tapped in you are. How many levels, how many people you surpass, because some people can be on priestess level. Some people can be on prophet level. Some people can be on ascended master type level. Some people can be on what people call spirit God type level. They ain't coming back. They finna go on to guide somebody else. They are guide now. Just like in the astral realms, how I've seen it and how I dreamt of it. There's different levels to certain realms. Us as humans can only tries to constantly go back and forth between these different realms. That's why I love the cat. And I'm going to make a video about the cat and how we can kind of do like the cat does. But the cat is so subtle, so balanced, because they know, okay, they know this is a spiritual experience right here. I see this ghost, this spirit. Okay, I'm aware of it. And then the cat, all right, time to go eat my food. It's so subtle, so balanced, so like, wow. That's why I love the cat, okay? The cat is one of my guides. We constantly try to find a balance. Us as human beings constantly try to find a balance, because our existence, us here in our existence, is constantly going back and forth between a human experience and a spiritual experience. And that's why we get into these emotional windfalls, or these outbursts of emotions, and we feel like we in lack, then we're in prosperity. We in lack, then we in prosperity. And we in lack, then we prosperity. Because God is constantly giving us what we want and what we need, what we ask for, what we pray for. But sometimes those things have to come with mundane problems. What we assume is a problem. But really, is it a problem? Do you really have bad luck? I know some things cross over to our past lives. That's another thing. That's the third thing. We're going back and forth from a human experience and from a spiritual experience and from what we encountered in the past. Constantly. And trying to knit up the future. We got the human, the spiritual, what happened to us in the past life, or what we endured in past life, and the consequences that we had to renew and relearn within this existence. And then we try to knit this and piece this together like a science project to make our future. So if you think about it, just like fire needs water. Fire needs water to burn, to put it out. But sometimes that water needs to turn into steam. That earth needs the water to grow. that water needs something to nourish. I'm going to get back to the steam part because I was trying to make up something with that. And then the air needs the water, is made up of the water. The air can be made up of the fumes in the what you wanted, the fog. I forgot what, condensation of the fire, and then the air just flows through this world, which is air within us. Our body gets hot. Our body's made up of water. We need water to survive. Our breath is what we need to keep this heart going. And space. Our spiritual self needs space. It's a constant battle between balancing all this, because we're made up of all this that we see every day. And what I want to go back to, what that privileged and non-privileged person both have something in common. Both can go low and both can go high. But it is them to identify how to constantly fly. It is them that has to realize that they can have anything they want. It is them that can realize they can get themselves out of what they can get out of. I mean, there are some people who are captured. It is sad, but everything, I'm just going to leave it here because I know some people might be sensitive to what I was going to say, but I'm not going to say that. The king, the privileged person, the person non-privileged, all of us, God within us, everything pieced together, going in the flow, going synchronized and stuff like that. We have to realize that we have the power too within us. And that is source, universe, God. We have it. We can be anything we want to be. But we allow things to, negative things, because like I said, if there's light, there has to be dark. There's dark, there has to be light. So when you're high and all this stuff like that, and maybe you will get down low a little bit when you're sad, then there's negative energy. There's negative energy floating around, and our energy, how deep we go in that negative energy, how deep we go within that negative energy, it's like we're calling more of it to attach to us. Then it's just playing around with our whole force, poking us, saying you're not worth it, you're not nothing. Then now your brain, which I read in the book, now your brain is bringing up past stuff. That why am I thinking this when I am actually feeling this right now, when I'm seeing something else, but I'm feeling what I felt in the past, or vice versa. I feel something different right now, but why this madness is connected to trauma from my childhood. The brain has to attach itself to something when we feel, when we see. So what we feel and what we see, it's not, it might not be all bad, it might not be all good. It depends on how you perceive it. Now in this world, us spiritual beings says, no, you got to go to the 5D. I get that. We do have to have that balance. But we can't always just stay in the 5D in other realms all the time, because we're just going to be a floating head and we can't get grounded. We gotta have the opposite. The mundane world is not all bad. It's just what you place on it. So if you place a negative connotation on this certain thing, oh, having a lot of money is bad, or the root of all evil, oh, having this prosperity or this abundance is too much, I can't have all this, then you're not going to have it. But why complain? You said you didn't want it at first, so you cannot complain of not having it. You said it was bad, but you complain and you yearn for what you want, but you said it was bad, so you don't have it. You get what I'm saying here? It kind of went poetic, but I do write poetry. But you see what I'm saying? Do you feel? Do you hear? Do you understand? Back to the beginning. In the middle, I kind of went on a tangent, but I was trying to explain something else. But back to the beginning. Just because that person was privileged doesn't mean that they can't fall. They can fall. Just because you wasn't privileged doesn't mean you can't have it all. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep trying to fight yourself? I've been there too. I struggle with it too. Everybody struggle with it. Everybody do. If a person is too much in the mundane and not balancing their spiritual side of themselves, their physical side of themselves, right? Their not responsibility, but their spiritual side, things that we need to also take care of. That if we're too focused on the mundane, we miss. We pray to God, God give me a sign, but you miss the sign because you're too focused on, I got to make this money. I got to do this. That control. There's an opposite in everything. It's okay to have control over your life. Have control over things. Have control over yourself. But sometimes you got to release too. It's a back and forth. Everything is a constant back and forth. It's okay to want to be rich. It's okay. It's okay to have, it's okay to want to have love. It's okay to want to be loved. It's okay to embrace love. Don't allow what you've been through, seen, whatever, to dictate how you get what you desire in your life, because that desire will turn into despair if you allow yourself to be controlled by outside influences and flashbacks in your mind. And also your shadow. I'm gonna end this video, and I'm gonna end up making a video about the shadow and how your shadow, I'm gonna make a video about the shadow and what my experience was with my shadow, and also how you can be best friends with your shadow. Your ego. How you can use your ego as a weapon. But that's all I had to say, y'all. So that was my little I guess channel message. But channel message, poetic, I don't know what you want to call it. Call it what you call it. I just call it divine wisdom from up above. But I hope this helps. Y'all be prosperous, be abundant, and hope that you get everything that you want in your life in a positive way. All right. So y'all have a good day or good night.